"He doesn't belong here. He's a security risk," Jacob shouted, drawing everyone's attention. The black man stood up calmly, eyes sharp. Jacob tensed as the man reached into his pocket, and then a golden badge flashed under the lights. "Special Agent William Carter, FBI." Jacob's face drained of color. But what happened next? That's when things got really interesting. Jacob adjusted his tie and settled into his first-class seat, stretching out his legs with a satisfied sigh. He loved the feeling of superiority that came with first class. The extra legroom, the impeccable service, and the quiet hum of luxury that separated him from the chaos of economy class. He glanced around the cabin, surveying the other passengers with mild disinterest, until his eyes landed on the man sitting across the aisle. A black man. He was wearing a sharp gray suit, reading from a leather-bound file with the kind of focus that suggested importance. Jacob's brows knitted together. Something about this didn't sit right. He felt it in his gut. First class was exclusive, a place for business executives and people who belonged. His mind began racing. How did he afford a seat here? He looked too calm, too composed, too confident. Jacob leaned toward the flight attendant passing by. "Excuse me," he said in a low voice. "I think that man over there is making people uncomfortable." The flight attendant frowned. "Sir, is there a problem?" Jacob's lips curled slightly. "He doesn't belong here." He gestured toward the black man with a subtle nod of his chin. "He looks suspicious. Are you sure he's supposed to be sitting in first class?" The flight attendant's expression tightened. "Sir, all passengers have been cleared through security." Jacob's jaw tensed. "I don't think you understand. He could be a threat." The flight attendant's tone sharpened. "Sir, if there's no actual problem, I'm going to have to ask you to let it go." Jacob's face flushed. He wasn't used to being dismissed, especially not when he was right. He stood up, raising his voice so the nearby passengers could hear. "So we're just ignoring potential threats now? He could be dangerous. He doesn't look like someone who should be in first class." Murmurs rippled through the cabin as passengers turned toward the commotion. The black man closed his file and slowly lifted his gaze toward Jacob. His eyes were sharp, calculating. But he didn't say a word. The flight attendant stepped between them. "Sir, I need you to sit down." Jacob scoffed. "Oh, now you care about security?" He pointed at the man. "I'm telling you, this is a security risk. Someone needs to remove him from this flight." The black man finally spoke. His voice was low and controlled. "Is there a problem?" Jacob's eyes narrowed. "Yeah, you're the problem." The tension in the cabin was thick enough to cut with a knife. Eyes darted between Jacob and the black man. Someone's phone screen lit up. Passengers were starting to record. The black man slowly stood up, his gaze unwavering. "Are you sure you want to do this?" he asked. Jacob's eyes blazed with certainty. "Oh, I'm sure." What happened next would shake the entire plane. The cabin was heavy with tension. Every eye in first class was locked on Jacob and the black man, who stood facing each other like two fighters sizing each other up before a match. Jacob's chest heaved, adrenaline coursing through his veins as his mind raced. He was convinced he was doing the right thing. This man didn't belong here. Jacob just knew it, and he was going to make sure everyone else knew it too. "Sir, please sit down," the flight attendant repeated, her tone growing sharper. Jacob ignored her. "No, I'm not sitting down until you remove this man from the plane." The black man's eyes darkened slightly. His expression was calm, too calm, which only infuriated Jacob more. How could he stand there like that, so composed, when he was obviously making people uncomfortable? "You think you're better than everyone here?" Jacob spat. "Just because you put on a nice suit doesn't mean you belong here." A woman sitting nearby gasped. Another passenger started whispering to the person next to them. A young man in a hoodie a few rows back raised his phone, recording the whole thing. "I'm going to give you one last chance to sit down," the flight attendant warned. Jacob scoffed. "Or what? You're going to let him stay here while the rest of us just hope nothing happens?" The black man finally spoke. His tone was low, steady, and razor-sharp. "I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Jacob laughed bitterly. "Oh yeah? What are you, some kind of celebrity? Or are you trying to make a statement?" The man's gaze didn't waver. "I don't need to explain myself to you." Jacob took a step closer, his face twisted into a sneer. "You're not fooling anyone. You don't belong here. And I'm not going to sit down until you're off this plane." A ripple of unease spread through the cabin. The flight attendants exchanged nervous glances. The passengers were now fully invested in the scene unfolding before them, phones out, cameras rolling. "Sir," the male flight attendant stepped forward. "You're making a scene. If you don't sit down, we'll have to escort you off the plane." Jacob's eyes flashed with rage. "Me? I'm the one causing the problem? He's the one sitting here like he owns the place?" The black man took a slow breath, his eyes cool and measured. "You're out of line." Jacob's blood boiled. "Oh, you think you're better than me?" He stepped toward him, his chest puffed out. "Go ahead. Try something. I dare you." The man's gaze sharpened. His expression didn't change, not even a flicker of emotion. Slowly, he reached into his jacket pocket. Jacob's breath hitched. His mind immediately went to the worst-case scenario. His body tensed, preparing for the inevitable. "Get your hands up!" Jacob screamed, lunging back. Passengers gasped. A woman yelped. One of the flight attendants shouted, "Stop!" The man's hand emerged from his pocket, gripping a black leather wallet. With a measured flick of his wrist, he opened it. A golden badge glinted under the cabin lights. "Special Agent William Carter, FBI." The entire cabin fell into stunned silence. Jacob's mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. His face drained of color. His eyes darted between the badge and Carter's steady gaze. Carter's voice remained calm, but there was an unmistakable steel edge beneath it. "Now, would you like to repeat what you just said?" Jacob's heart hammered in his chest. His mouth was dry. Suddenly, the ground beneath his feet didn't feel so stable. He had just made a very, very big mistake. The man slowly reached into his pocket. Jacob tensed, eyes flashing with panic. "Get your hands up!" Jacob screamed. The man calmly pulled out a black leather wallet and flipped it open. A golden badge gleamed under the cabin lights. "Special Agent William Carter, FBI." Jacob's mouth fell open. His face drained of color. "Would you care to repeat your accusation?" Agent Carter's tone was ice cold. Jacob stumbled over his words. I just thought." Agent Carter took a step forward, closing the distance. "You profiled me. You accused me of being a criminal, and now you're about to find out exactly how big a mistake that was." The flight attendants moved in. "Sir," one of them said to Jacob, "we're going to need you to step off the plane." Jacob's eyes darted around the cabin. But he—" "Now," the attendant said firmly. Jacob's mouth twisted in rage. "Are you kidding me? He's the one causing trouble." Agent Carter stepped aside. "Let's go." Jacob was escorted down the aisle, his face burning as passengers recorded his humiliation. Some people clapped softly. A man near the back muttered, "Good riddance." As Jacob passed Agent Carter, he snarled, "You just got lucky." Agent Carter's smile was thin. "No, I'm just better at my job than you are at minding your business." Jacob was marched down the jet bridge, his head bowed, as a security officer waited for him at the gate. Agent Carter sat back down, crossed his legs, and reopened his file. A woman sitting nearby leaned toward him. "Thank you for handling that so calmly." Agent Carter didn't look up. "Just another day on the job." The flight took off without further incident, except for the viral video that would hit the internet an hour later, titled, "Passenger Tries to Kick Black Man Off the Plane. Regrets it when he sees his FBI credentials."